Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. So again, I'm continuing with these, I suppose, little video tutorials on YouTube. Something that I don't usually do and I haven't been doing a lot of. I've tried to commit a bit more to doing them because I know these screen recordings are so helpful, so I'm going to continue now. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about Google Search Console. It's this amazing free tool that Google provides to webmasters as a way for Google to communicate with them. So in other words, Google, if they spot an issue in your website, they can communicate with you and tell you, hey, you've had a manual action, you have some security issues. And it's also a way for webmasters to communicate with Google. So the likelihood is Google will always, I suppose, scan your website and index your website, as long as you don't have, I suppose, some technical issues. But Google Search Console really just helps you ease that information to Google. So you can submit your sitemap to Google, which was a full list of all the URLs that you want to index in Google. You can also see previews of what the live version of your site looks like in Search Console. Do you have Schema implemented correctly? You can see the amount of inbound links coming to your website. You can see lots of this different information about how your website is indexed and the performance of your URLs as well. So what website traffic is coming into you? Are you getting good website traffic from a particular URL, and what keywords are on there? So not only that, like Google will actually send you performance updates, which is quite a new feature. I actually like it every month, so it's quite good to see. But anyway, I'm going to stop waffling now. We're actually going to go in. We're going to have a look at my Google Search Console for my personal website, keanmurphy.ie. I've only launched it maybe November, December. And we can see kind of how a website will gradually increase depending on the amount of content you put onto it. I've only put on maybe about 10 URLs, but it's already gaining a little bit of traffic. And Google Search Console helps me identify what traffic that is and what keywords are actually worth going after. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the next video. If you'd like to kind of see more of these type of information, subscribe to the video below. And also make sure that you click the alert notification. That way, anytime I do one of these, you'll get a notification as well. Anyway, let's go. Now we're going to have a look at my personal website. Set it up at the start of January it was, even though I did the installation in November. So my Google, well, I'm going to take you through, as I said, the Search Console at the moment for this particular website to show how it's performing in search engines. So as you can see, this is what you get when you sign up to Google Search Console. You get this area where Google will tell you about the performance and current coverage of your website. So we're just going to go through section by section and have a look. So obviously the first one we'll have a look at is performance. So it tells you how good your website is doing. And usually the default will look at total clicks, that's the number of people that click to your website from Google search, the total impressions, so almost 47,000 impressions, so that's people who have seen your URLs in the Google search results, your average click-through rates, so the number of clicks divided into your impression is your click-through rate. The higher up this is, the better for you because it means that you're extremely relevant, and your average position as well. So these are the most important things. Now you can go back, it's default web. You can look at image search and video search as well. So we can click on video search and have a look around, and you'll see that I had a few videos. I only put up one post with a video in it, and you can have a look and see if I show up under images, and you can see nothing really under the image section. A few little clicks on it, but it's mainly under my own name, so probably my own images, and it'll tell you the pages that those images are viewed from. But we'll just focus on the web for the moment. I said I'm doing the last 3 months. You can actually do a comparison as well, so you can compare it to the previous 3 months as well. And you can see, so the last 3 months compared to the previous 3 months. As I said, it's only going over just over 4 months, so these are not really good metrics to compare it to. But we'll take the comparison off and we'll focus on the last 3 months because that gives a good indication. Sorry, I'll go to filter. The last 3 months. Okay, and down below here is the queries. So this gives you I suppose, a different look into the pages that are performing well and the queries that people are finding your pages on, the countries, the devices, the search appearance, and the dates. So if we click into queries, we'll see that a few of the things that I show up under in Google is SEO consultant, SEO training, and Keen Murphy, my name, PPC consultant, digital marketing consultant. So, this is a pretty new site, so it's going to take a while for me to build. But that's where we know something is doing well. So obviously this SEO training is a very good keyword. And you can actually go down and just click on that and see how that performed. So I published the SEO training post in the middle of March. As you see, I actually started ranking pretty high under there for a few days. I think I was ranking, well, I got to position 1 or 2 for a few days, but then kind of Google must have worked out that, I'm kind of a new site. I haven't earned the authority to be there at the moment. So it's going to take a while to get back to that situation. But we'll go back out of that. So as you can see, you can break it down by a number of things, by country as well. So I only want to have a look at my Irish results, and it's a little bit different, as you can tell. And now my position was 60 worldwide, but as you can see, it was saying I was position 4 or 5 under this particular keyword. Even got to position 1 here for 1 or 2 days in Ireland alone. Now remember, my domain is a .ie domain, so that's why it would have been performing that well. So if I click back out of that and I go back to the default view, we can have a look at our best pages. So obviously the SEO one was the best, my home page. So if I want to see why did my home page get so many views, and it tell you the queries that as well. And it's Keen Murphy, digital marketing consultant, marketing consultant. No, I'm not trying to rank under digital marketing consultant Dublin. I'm focusing on the southeast. So a lot of my stuff will show up because of local search, which is what I'm trying to capitalize on. As you can see, we can go back over country and see I have shown up in the United States under some searches, but you can pretty much tell by your position, your click-through rate, if you're relevant to a user or not. And I am not relevant to anyone really outside of Ireland at the moment. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't turn away any client no matter where they were in the world, but it's not something that I'm targeting at the moment with this website. It also gives me a breakdown of what device that I'm on. Is it a desktop, a mobile, a tablet? As you can see here, desktop is by far the highest for me. Mobile hasn't gotten there yet. So if I'm averaging positions of 4 or 5 on a desktop, on a mobile, I'm actually a little bit further down, which means that people have to scroll or tap load more on your device to actually see the results. So that's why my impressions aren't as prominent on a mobile device as they would be on the desktop for the moment. Now, as I go and I post more content, that's when you actually start ramping up and getting more of those traffic. I always like to look at impressions to see what's doing well, but it's just a really handy tool to see what's going on. Your search appearance as well. So as you can see here, I actually did a few FAQ snippets. I have a video snippet. So I suppose the FAQ one would be my, say if I typed in SEO consultant. And then we click here, and I'm here in position 2. And this is the FAQ schema. So Google is telling me that this is the schema that's been that I've seen in the search results. So I can go back here, and that's why that's showing up. So I can click and only select that, and I can select the pages that the queries I'm getting those. So SEO training, I also got it for SEO Ireland, SEO expert bio, content marketing consultant. So that's a new one. I haven't really focused too much on it, but if I type in content marketing consultant, now this is localized, so I might not actually. So my Google My Business listing is showing up here, but I am not showing up there at the moment, not that I can see, under here. And so if I typed in reputation management consultant, that is one that I'm showing up under. Again, false positive because I visited this before, but it just gives you an idea of how Google is showing your pages based on those rich snippets as well. So that's the performance. I find it very handy I like breaking it down by pages and finding out what queries those pages brought in. So if I look at just SEO training as a page
and then I break it down by all the queries. SEO trainer, Google SEO trainer. Like, I might not have some of these keywords in that post, so what I might actually do is try and place these in. Like, I didn't target keyword SEO trainer. I always target SEO training, and this isn't an SEO course. It's actually to help individual businesses with their SEO. So it's kind of one-on-one training or in-company training. And that's what I'm trying to rank under. But is that Google's intent to show me? Maybe not. But they're definitely testing me out around this period here. So I know SEO training is actually a good keyword to go after, which I might do in the future. You can actually do a URL inspection tool. So if I look at that SEO training one, it's retrieving data from the Google Web Index. It just takes a second to load. But it gives me a kind of a breakdown of what Google sees. Can my page be crawled? View the crawl page. And the coverage is submitted and it's indexed, which means I've submitted it through my sitemaps and it's indexed in Google. It's mobile friendly, it passes that. It's an FAQ, it's one valid item detective. It has site links, search box. So all that schema is located on that page. And you can even test the live URL. And if I've made a change to that page, I can actually request indexing again, because say if I just updated and put in extra keywords or wrote another paragraph, I can go back to Google and say, okay, do you know what? I've actually made a change to this page. Can you please go back and reindex this and judge this page again for me? And I've seen these reindexing, especially when FAQs, within maybe 30 minutes, I've actually seen my FAQ show up in the search result, which is very cool when you do something like that. And it can have a big impact on your click-through rates. Some businesses I've seen that implementing FAQ has a huge impact on their click-through rates, but then others I've actually seen it have a, well, not detrimental effect, but they've definitely lost a lot of their click-through rates because they've answered too much in the FAQs. The people didn't need to go to the search result. And I suppose that's what Google's training people for. And as you can see, this takes just a little few minutes to submit the request, but URL was added to priority crawling queue. Submitting a multiple page times will not change it. So basically they're saying don't do this again, because it won't make any difference. So if we move on to coverage, in our coverage section, it'll tell me if there's any errors with my website, there's any warnings, if there's valid, what's excluded, and it gives me a breakdown. So if I click on this valid, it shows that there's just over 26 valid pages that are indexed in Google at the moment, and submitted and indexed 22, indexed not submitted in sitemap is 4. So I might have a look in here and say, why aren't these in my sitemap? And maybe I'll do it. And what these were old pages. So I need to have a look at this and maybe redirect them, because I made a mistake publishing these URLs when I shouldn't have. So I need to have a look at that. But that's the type of issues that you're using. And you can see excluded. So what's been excluded from Google search results? And crawled, currently not indexed. Page with a redirect. A soft 404, not found. Crawl anomalies. And discovered. So crawled but currently not indexed is my feeds, which is fine. I don't want my feeds going in, and I've turned off my author profile from being found in search, because I am my author profile, so I didn't want it there. And that's kind of, but in here you can tell a lot of if you have a lot of 404s or anything like that. So not found. So this page wasn't found as a social feed, and to be honest, it's excluded anyway, so it's not an issue. And my sitemap. So in here is where you communicate with Google and tell them where your sitemap is. A sitemap is just a list of pages on your website that you're telling Google, will you please scan? So I haven't done any posts or pages submitted in sitemap. So if I have a look, we can see the post sitemap has 2 in it, page 18. If I click on the page one, it'll tell me that everything is okay, and I can actually see the cover index as well. So there's 18 valid pages in here, and I can go down through it and I can see which ones are all valid. So all of these are in my are in the search results, which is fine. So that's kind of coverage and sitemaps broken down. In here, so you need to urgently remove content from Google search. So say if you've accidentally, I've seen a company that accidentally published an internal communication document that got indexed in Google and someone caught it. So what they actually did is, okay, they no indexed, they blocked it by but and they're blocked by robots. But they went in here and they actually submitted the new request. So they typed in the URL and it says remove this URL only or remove all prefixes. So the prefix would be like, is there any following, say, if there are any HTTPS, HTTP, and any other ones to do with it. But that's the main URL, and you can clear the clear cache URL as well. So it clears the current snippet and cache version until the next crawl. So that's a pretty handy tool. Outdated content. I haven't actually done any of those ones, but the site speed. So in here, now I don't have enough data to because the site is only new, to actually show if anything's doing quite well. So mobile search data, what usually in here you'd actually get a lot of, it'd be saying if you had too large an image on a page, or you had too many scripts running. This will actually tell you that, oh, these pages are slow, you should work on optimizing them. And then it'll actually open up the page speed insights tool to help you look at those. And the same on desktop. So it gives you two. Remember now, Google is mobile first indexing, so making sure that your website is fast on a mobile is very important. Remember I was telling you that Google will tell you if there's any mobile issues. So you might see that there might be, your CSS might be broken, or you might have a link that's not that's smaller than a thumbprint, and all these issues would actually show up here. But as you can see, all mine are valid. They're all mobile friendly. But if one ever did happen where the CSS got broken or it wasn't mobile friendly or didn't respond, I get a notification in here and I'd be able to solve the issue. So again, that's Google communicating. I was telling you about the FAQs. So it tells you any of my enhanced posts where I've put the FAQ schema on it, or how-to schema. I haven't really used how-to on this one, but we have 4 valid pages in here. And I can actually click in and I can see which ones are. So I have FAQ schema on these 4 pages alone. Site search box, again, it's valid for all of them because it's in the Yoast plugin. Remember I was telling you at the start that manual actions, if anything ever happened to your website and you had bad links, or you were seen to have, I suppose, gone against Google's terms, conditions, or guidelines, webmaster guidelines, you might get a notification in here that there's been a manual action taken against your website. But as you can see here, no issues detected, so it's actually quite good. Security issues, again, if there's any malware injected into your website, if you've been hacked, Google will actually tell you and give you notification saying you might have some issues with that. And then we come down to the legacy tools. So international targeting, if you're using, I suppose, alternate tags. Now, I'm not going towards any, I'm not using any hreflang tags to target different countries, but 1 or 2 of my clients do. So down here, they'll say that, okay, this site is targeting ES for Spain, IT for Italy, AU for Australia, and the US version, the UK version, so on. And that's only a small thing. Crawler stats. So it tells you, it gives you a little breakdown of the crawl stats of your website. So this is telling me in the last 90 days, Google is crawling pages per day. It's saying it's crawling between 2022. So all my pages are getting crawled in a day because my site is so small. Google can do that. I've seen with a lot of larger websites, I might have 10,000 URLs, but only 2,000 to 3,000 are getting crawled. So Google will give priority to those. And it tells you the size of the pages and the information downloaded. Messages. So again, Google sends you messages. So improve your search presence of KeanMurphy.ie tells me, and Google will start giving you different, I suppose, add the tags. This is what you get when you first start. Now all this is already done. So, but this is the message area, and I also get performance, I suppose, updates through here as well. It tells me how good the website's been over the last month. URL parameters. So it tells me if you want to use your site more effectively, say if you're using search parameters for, I don't know, e-commerce websites that have like large size or medium, or if they're in stock or not, you can add parameters, and you can select Google. No, it doesn't affect the page content. Easy, it just tracks usage. Yes, it changes, reorders, and narrows page content. And you can set those parameters. Now, to be honest, I've only ever used URL parameters on e-commerce shops. I've never had to use it in any other function, but it is a very good handy tool for Google to have. And then you have all these different reports as well. So ad experience tool. So if you have too many ads in your websites, Google will basically let you know, and you can violate, and you can, or ads experience that violate their better ad standards. So if your website's just ads everywhere, your website might not do well on a thing, and you can run the test on this verified property. And you can do it on mobile as well, because desktop and mobile have different experiences. So you might be fine on the desktop, but you might be poor on a mobile. Any abusive experiences. So in here, I've never actually had to use this one, but it is handy if there has been any abuse. There's other testing tools then, so the structured data testing tool like the FAQ one I showed you, and email markup tests and structured data markup helper. Google give you other resources then. So Merchant Center, page speed, it's kind of like a glossary of anything to help a webmaster. And then you can learn more about those features. Your inbound links. So it tells you about what are your most linked pages in your website. And usually your home page is always going to be your most linked, because that's where people actually link to you. And I'm going to actually have to block off some of these ones here, because it tells you from some of my client websites that I've been working on. I'd rather their websites not show there. But having a look at these, it tells you external links going to these pages, the PPC page, the SEO training page, my consultancy page. It just gives me a good example. And then your settings. So it tells you everything. Are you the verified owner? Yes, I am. My permissions is me. I can if I ever wanted to change my domain, say if I went from .ie to .com, I could let Google know in here. And it tells me my indexing crawler is actually Google Desktop, which I actually didn't check on that. So that's probably why my desktop version is actually a bit better than my mobile version. So property added to account. So the 29th of April. So I was using a different version. I was using the domain tool, but to get these enhanced experiments and to get these legacy tools, I had to actually use the HTTPS version to get those. So in summary, that is my Google Search Console for my personal website. Just so handy to contact Google and stay in touch with Google. You get notified about any errors. You can see if you have coverage issues. To be honest, this is definitely the main area that I focus on as an SEO specialist. So this is kind of a bare minimum what you'd want to do for your SEO. I haven't really met too many different companies that haven't used this, and it's the first thing that I always kind of install as soon as I do work with a new company or client. And it's just very handy, very easy to get the hang of, and eventually you become quite well knowledgeable in this. So I hope that's helped. Again, if you've liked the video and you want to find out more of these type of training modules, then get in contact with me, and I'll or subscribe to this channel, and you'll find out more of these training tidbits. Hope that helped.